Hi everybody, Vermont Survivalist here, and this video is, I can't say a response video because it's not really a response video, but it's just a reaction video of, yeah, I guess that's a response, to a Canadian prepper video that I saw. And it was pretty interesting because he posed a question, a scenario, and then he had people write in what they would do. And there was a lot of people that said, I'd put two in the guy's head. And I guess the scenario was three heavy metal guys show up at your doorstep. Two are in the background, and one walks up and asks for food and water. And what would you do? Oh yeah, and he's eyeing the girls around. And what would you do? And a lot of people responded, put two in the head, you get a gauge to the face. You know what I mean? They would do that. And, Canadian prepper, I guess he was calling bullshit on it. You know what I mean? And again, I can see why he would call bullshit on it, because people don't do that, in a natural disaster or anything like that. Some people do when they're defending their property. But that's in defense of your property. You know what I mean? If you take any natural disaster, you don't see people somebody comes up for food, and water, you're just going to put a gauge in their face. You know what I mean? Get the fuck out of here. Or just start shooting. You don't see that now. You know what I mean? You didn't see that in Katrina. You didn't see that in Texas. You didn't see that unless you were literally defending your property, and that's how. I think if it did happen where people throw gauges, I mean seriously bad disaster, where it's not going to be, the outcome's not good at all, I think those people would kill each other off fairly quickly. I really do. I honestly feel that the people that are just going to cowboy it, and it's going to get returned to you. You know what I mean? You just don't go guns blazing. You just don't do that. It's going to get served to you. And I don't think people understand that. Flat out. Like, some people think, it's going to be this way. It's going to be the Wild West. And look, the Wild West wasn't the Wild West because everybody was armed. And you fucked up, you were going to die. You know what I mean? There was no question. You were going to get shot at. The most scariest thing in the Wild West was being an outlaw. You know what I mean? Because people shot back. You know what I mean? And I know some people, they try to downplay it. Everybody's all fearful. You know what I mean? Fuck that shit. There's the Dalton gang there. The Dalton gang, they got shot. I think it was the Dalton gang. They got fucking murked. You know what I mean? The townspeople, got pissed that they were robbing their bank, and went after them. Killed a few of them too. You get what I mean? I mean, it's not what you see in the movies. The Wild West wasn't the Wild West. Actually, it was pretty tamed. You know what I mean? The only reason why it was the Wild West because there was a whole frontier that needed to be explored. You know what I mean? And I guess that's what made it wild. But other than that, though, it was pretty tamed. People mind their manners. You know what I mean? You acted accordingly, Or, there's a good chance that you could have got slapped. There's a good chance that you could have got punched. There's a good chance that you could get shot. You know what I mean? There was different rules back then. You know what I mean? And I think those rules would apply if a shit hit the fan scenario. I mean, you're going to be held accountable for the words that you speak. You know what I mean? You're going to be held accountable for your actions. And that includes murder. You get what I mean? So let's say, for instance, you see these kids, these guys, you know what I mean? And they come up and they're asking for food and water, And the next thing you know, you just blazing, You go in there and you just rack him and sack him, you know what I mean? For real, What? You don't think your neighbors ain't gonna intervene? You know what I mean? It's just, to me, I would intervene in that. I would intervene in that. I mean, these guys are gonna pose no harm to you. They're just coming up for aid. You know? That's murder. You get what I mean? That is murder. You know? And you can say, oh, well, that's kind of, Boy Scoutish. It's murder. It's just flat out. Why would you shoot somebody that's unarmed? You know what I mean? If you live in that scenario, that community's probably going to get tighter. You know what I mean? Those houses are probably going to watch out for each other. You get what I'm saying? You see a lot of this stuff in natural disasters where communities, like literally people that live, all of a sudden they just band together. You know, it's an odd thing, but really, 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 like when dire straits happen, even if these guys were to grab a group of guys, I don't think your neighbors, I know my neighbors wouldn't be timid. You know what I mean? I'm not talking like my downstairs neighbors, the neighbors across the street from me. Oh, fuck no. Neighbors down the street? No. No. Neighbors up? No. No. These guys would probably run to people's aid. You know what I mean? Especially if you're in this community. Townships, you know? I mean, if you look, this holds true, even in history. Towns were like, you know what I mean? If you got kicked out of a town, you were good to dead. You were good as dead. You know what I mean? That was a death sentence. Banished from a town. You get what I mean? If you got barred from a church, you know, it was just, well, I don't go to church, but you get what I mean, right? So here it is. You're gonna be a psycho and just gonna go guns blazing. Come on. That just don't make any sense. Why would you even do that? I know this. If I saw that, somebody asked him for food, somebody asked for water, I would ask a lot of questions if somebody came up to me. I'd definitely ask questions. Who are you? You know? That would definitely. And I'd tell them, you know, if you come up here with bad intentions, you're going to die. You know? You're going to die. You may get inside this house, but you're going to die coming out. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. Other neighbors are going to watch other neighbors' houses. That's just the way it's. Case in point, in Texas, I think it was in Texas, this guy saw somebody break inside his neighbor's house. He went in over there and he shot the fucker. You know what I mean? It's different rules, like in different areas. I think Texas I think it was in Texas. But I do the same thing for my neighbor. If it was end of the world scenario, my neighbor was out scavenging, I'd watch his house. I would want him to do it for me. You know what I mean? So I just don't think that people are just going to act all as crazy as they think they are. You know what I mean? You're going to be dealt with. That's it. The community's going to get rid of you. You know? The people act all tough and stuff. Look, you're like puffing stuff. You know what I mean? You ain't shit. You know? You tell me how tough you are when you got like 15 rifles aimed at you. You know what I mean? You're going to cower down pretty quickly. You know what I mean? It's going to break you down. Go ahead. I mean, seriously, really think about it. What? You're just going to go in there, guns blazing? You know? I don't think people really think this through. You know? Generally, what I would do is I would just come out. I would just go out there and start asking questions. Who are you? You know? And if he's a neighbor, then most likely, you know, he's going to be part of that community. So why wouldn't you help him? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you help him? If he's a neighbor across the street, I think that was it too. He was like, in that whole community, that street would probably be a community right there. That one whole street. They'd probably do something and build up. Because it's going to be your closest people. It's people that's going to be to the right and to the left of you. But you see people do that, and I think I mentioned this before, you see people do that all the time in disasters. You know, they help each other out. You don't even know somebody, and here you are with a boat and you're picking up strangers, helping them out. You know? You know, most humans are very compassionate people. You know? Most of them. You know, and they will help out when somebody's in need, especially in a disaster. You know? But If it came down to the point where, if it was complete disaster, like food wise, I think it's going to get tighter. That whole lone wolf thing. We ain't built for that. Some people are. But for the most part, humans ain't built for that. We have to live in packs. We have to live in groups. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I don't know where people, get off thinking, well, I'm just going to blast them, I am going to have to agree with Canadian Prepper on that. I mean, it's just like, come on. You did not think that through. You know what I mean? You're just looking at the heavy metal shirt. You're going to get kicked out of your community. You just marked yourself for death. You know what I mean? You just marked yourself right there. People are going to get rid of you. And I'm not kidding you. If I saw that, I'd get rid of you. You'd be dead. The minute you squeeze that trigger, you would be dead. And I kid you not. That's not going to happen. You know what I mean? You're not going to murder somebody because they're asking for food and water. That's not kosher in my book. I don't care how precious it is. Something can be worked out. Some trade can be worked out. You know what I mean? Something can be worked out, especially in that community. If you can't help this guy, bring him to somebody that can help him, or everybody pulls together. So, anyways. That's my thoughts on it. I just don't get where you got a lot of cowboys out there, I can't say cowboys. I just say a lot of wannabe tough guys. You know what I mean? You're gonna show them the gauge, you're gonna get the gauge, flat out. You think I'm playing? Flat out. Go ahead, murder somebody now. See what happens. You know what I mean? Do it. See what happens. Because I guarantee if you see somebody, if you come across somebody like me, you know what I mean? And you just flat out just execute somebody because they wanted aid, you're going to get fucking murked. You are. I'm not gonna sit there and I'm not going to be like, no, that's not cool. Murder's not cool in my book. No, I don't care who it's from. I don't care if it's a guy with a badge or not. Murder's not cool. Know what I mean? So that's it. That's my thing. That's right, bitches, against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Okay, so there we go. That's my video. This is not a response video, but I guess what it is. It's a reaction video. A response. Yes. Okay, whatever. So, from Osvalus, good to go.